Welcome you back to our program. Well, this year, of course, as always, politics much in the news, and joining us today, a local elected official who is seeking higher office. Joining us today is Beth Krom, who is currently on the City Council and has also served as mayor of our neighboring city of Irvine. Welcome back to you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here.
Good to have you with us. You're running for Congress, challenging an incumbent Republican in a Republican county of Orange County. How did you make that decision?
Well, I have to say I've been very fortunate in my service in local government. My 10 years on the Irvine City Council, 4 of those years as the elected mayor of Irvine, we accomplished a lot. But it was hard not to notice during my 4 years as mayor that our congressmen didn't once come to City Hall, didn't sit down to discuss our municipal priorities, didn't even send a letter of congratulations when we were named safest big city in America 4 years in a row. So after I handed the gavel over to our new mayor, Suki Kang, I really started to think about how the decisions made in Washington, as well as those made in Sacramento, can really impact the way we're able to do what we do at the local level. And I felt this is a district that deserves better representation, and we've subtitled the campaign Mrs. Krom Goes to Washington because we want it to be both a campaign and a civics lesson about how you get the kind of leadership you want. So we've been running for more than a year now, and things are going very well.
You have said in some of your releases that you're getting lots of small and local donations, and I know this is one of how President Obama was successful, rather than getting, obviously everybody gets some large contributions, but lots of little ones as well. You were comparing yourself to the incumbent congressman as far as the support.
Well, you know, more than 90% of our contributions have come from right here in Orange County, and a considerable number of those from the district. What's important about that is these are people who can actually vote here. Whereas for my opponent, most of his funding has come from outside the district, in many cases outside the state, but certainly not here in Orange County. We feel that, as Tip O'Neill said, all politics are local, and this is a great district, so I've been enjoying getting out into the cities in the district here. We've been here at Laguna Woods a number of times and actually are doing a forum next week. So it's a great chance for me to really appreciate what's great about the 48th. We have 4 coastal cities here. We have a lot of the preserved open space, a major university, the University of California at Irvine, 7 public school districts, and communities like Laguna Woods really are extraordinary communities for seniors, places where people can really live a vibrant life. And so I feel very privileged to just be able to campaign in a district like this, but would be truly honored to be able to represent these people.
You mentioned the coastal cities, and obviously we're all watching with interest what's going along across our southern coast of this country with the oil situation right now. Recently, the president made a statement which was unusual for him, that we maybe should think about more offshore drilling. This was just a few days before. Our governor now, who is of the opposing party to you, recently said no offshore drilling here in California. You've already had a pretty consistent stand on that.
Well, yes, I oppose offshore drilling. I understand our need for energy independence. I understand that we do not want, through our need for oil, to empower those who may not have America's best interests at heart. But I also understand that we get one planet, and that drilling offshore has inherent risks, and if this spill off the coast of Louisiana doesn't bring that message home loud and clear, I don't know what will. You mentioned the governor saying that we won't do it. That was only after the spill in Louisiana. You know, interestingly, most of our environmental protection efforts in this country really came from a major oil spill off the coast of Santa Barbara back in the 60s. And the point is that the state was ready to begin doing oil exploration off the coast of Santa Barbara again. So it's unfortunate that we sometimes have to have these extraordinary events to understand that there are calculated risks, but there are certain risks we really shouldn't be willing to take. This is going to have such tremendous impacts on the sea life, which will have a whole series of domino effects on the cost of goods in this country and certainly the quality of water in this country. So yes, with 4 coastal cities in the district, I think it's important for us to have somebody in Washington who opposes offshore drilling. Our current congressman has had a pretty soft position on offshore drilling because, well, perhaps as a former automobile salesman, he believes that we should get oil at any price. I don't know. I can't speak for him. I can just tell you that preserving our coastal waterways here in the 48th Congressional District is something I put a very high value on.
You mentioned things that could be a threat. Obviously, recently in New York, we've seen something which could have been very tragic. Fortunately, things didn't go the way this individual had designed them to be. What's your take on our whole effort in security, all the different things we've done in this country to try and protect ourselves? How are we doing on the so-called war on terror?
Well, you know, it's interesting because often when I talk about homeland security, I tie that into other issues that have also been on the national radar screen, like health security. You know, we focus a lot of resources on, as we should, on making sure that America is safe. But I also think that the people in this country need to know that they have access to the kind of resources that keep them healthy and safe on a daily basis. Sometimes we get so caught up in the global conversation that we forget that every day people have to make tough choices about health care, about access to prescriptions. So I am a holistic thinker. I don't believe that it's good for us to distract ourselves exclusively with some of these major international issues. They are absolutely priorities at a federal level. But I also think that the people who live in our communities need to be an equal priority. And that's a priority we need to think about on a daily basis. I'm very proud that I do come from a community where during my 4 years as mayor, we were recognized as America's safest big city all 4 years in a row. That took strategic investments on the part of the political leadership. We must, as a country, continue to invest strategically in national security, but national security is not something we can fully control through safety at our airports or investments in homeland security. It also requires us to build a national culture around concern for safety and security at every level.
Final question, dealing with security, specifically the illegal immigration issue. Your solution and or at least solutions possibly to that issue?
Well, you know, it's a very complicated issue. You know, we are a nation of immigrants, and the truth is that immigrants have, for the entirety of our existence as a country, been very important to our national economy. We also, as a country with major border relationships, particularly with Mexico and Canada, and Mexico being one of the major points at which people cross through, I think we need an intelligent policy. I'm not in favor of what's happening in Arizona today. I don't think that we do ourselves any favors by playing into fear and ignorance. I do think that we have to be able to control our borders, but I also think that when people have lived in this country, have contributed to this country, have raised their families, and have been good citizens, a path to legal immigration is something that we should be willing to look at.
Well, folks, as you can see, a lot of issues that will be affecting whoever represents us in Congress. And Beth Krom, we thank you for coming by today, and we will be talking to you, I think, again as we get a little closer to November. Thanks for coming by.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you with us today. Beth Krom, running for Congress, Democrat, running against the current incumbent in that seat. We'll be coming back with more right after this.